that bar.
That extra gear, the first 3 steps.
Huge strides in the performance.
That I might not be the player I am today.
All right, welcome to another episode of Behind the Gear. And today we have the pleasure of sitting with Michael HOUSER, who's goaltender. He has big shin pads and a catcher and a blocker. No, Michael obviously played his OHL career here in London and is back for the summer training. So I had a chance to snag him and want to chat with him. But you got a really cool story, Mike, and that's kind of why I wanted to chat with you a little bit more for some of those young players, goalies, whoever's out there that, you know, maybe is got some of the chips stacked against him a little bit and kind of overcoming that. But before we get into your story, because I think it's a really cool story, where's home for you? So where did you kind of born and raised and grow up?
Yeah, born and raised Youngstown, Ohio. So I don't know if most people listening are Canadian American, but I'm born Midwest U.S. So Youngstown. Then we moved to Pittsburgh. So my folks are still in Pittsburgh. Most extended family Youngstown, but like my old man still drives back and forth for work every day. So it's like 50 minutes away from Youngstown. So we live right on the border of PA and Ohio.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. And now, how'd you get into hockey? Like, was it dad that was kind of big into it? Do you have brothers that played, or?
No, dad wasn't big into hockey at all. Huge sports fan in general, but not hockey. I have an older brother and then younger brother and sister. But the older brother started taking skating lessons. My parents' friends' kids started taking skating lessons, and then my brother joined, and then I might have been 4 or 5, but I know we'll get into it in a bit, but it was tough to get my foot in normal skates. We had to find skates that fit. And then eventually I ended up joining him. He had probably like a year head start on me, but I ended up starting skating maybe 4 or 5, I guess 5. And then I started playing goalie like right away.
Did you really?
Yeah, no player or anything.
Did you kind of fall in love with like goaltending a little bit, or like was it just?
Yeah, I liked it. It was. And again, partially because of my feet, because I can't I can't motor around for a whole game like skating 200 feet. So it's nice to stay there, but I could push hard and stop.
Gotcha.
And like that's mostly what goaltending is, and then reaction. Obviously, my hands are fine. So, but that's mostly why. And my brother's team needed a goalie. We just started. I know Adam here, right?
Yeah, everything changed a little bit, but you have your Squirt or your Mike and your Adams and kind of moving up, right?
Yeah, so I started playing with him right away, but they needed a goalie, so I went back there, and it was good because I probably wouldn't have been the best skater ever. So,
well, for those who like beat around the bush, but obviously you have club feet. So, I mean, growing up, when did you kind of realize that like your feet were maybe a little bit different than your brothers or other people? Like, did you kind of pick it up quick, or was it?
No, not for a while.
Yeah.
It probably would. Honestly, it might have not been till maybe juniors-ish, just because I was always fairly athletic. Yeah. So with my buddies growing up, hockey or other sports, like I was never behind. Yeah. And like, even like when we would go running and so I could always run and like keep up. For as much as kids can or whatever. But I was always like fairly decent enough athlete to get by. And then I think it was probably about juniors, maybe just before, where I realized that some of my buddies are getting like big boys. And not that I'm like weak or anything like that, but I started seeing that like I can't jump as high. It was the first thing, and my balance was a bit off. So those were the 2 things I started noticing. And then I kind of looked into it, and my ankle and calves will never be fully developed because of the surgeries. So I just can't gain any more muscle there. Yeah. And because of that, like I can't have like good dorsiflexion, or I can't go on the outside of my feet anymore.
Gotcha.
The goal of the surgeries was to get my feet flat on the ground.
Yeah.
So I don't have an arch anymore either, but I can't go out, which is for a goalie, it's fine because I'm on my instep the whole time.
Yeah,
so
right.
I'd like to think that if I had to pick a sport, I picked a decent enough position where like it's active enough where that's what I wanted to do. But like I'm not moving around. You are moving in net, but it's pretty local area.
It works for where you're limited, right? Because you're living on your outside, which you don't want to be on your outside anyway. You want to be on your inside edges.
I wouldn't be able to really. I can cross.
I know what you're saying though,
but it's more of like a hop. Like how guys go around in circles a bunch. Like I can't really do that.
Yeah, so definitely goalie over defenseman or forward.
No doubt.
Better move. At what age did you have surgery on your legs?
The first couple were like right after birth, like 3 days old.
Yeah.
And then I had 14 of them from 3 days old until 3 years old. And then the last 2 were when I was 12. I had 1 more on each foot when I was 12.
That was
and
it.
then that was it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I got the green light after that it was supposed to be no more surgeries. And, you know, I haven't seen the doctor in probably maybe I saw him after one of my years of pro, but probably 4 or 5 years, and he said everything still looks fine. Awesome. And they don't really bother me. I mean, something here and there with sports, but nothing
crazy.
No.
You know what's it's interesting because I'm sure like a lot of people listening, and myself included, I remember knowing a couple guys with club feet as a young kid. You know what I mean? And they had surgery, same thing. But as a young kid, you're ignorant. You have no idea, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, for you, it didn't really affect you much until kind of juniors. You started to realize, okay, guys are starting to like separate a gap on me a little bit on dunking a basketball on an 8-foot net or jumping high.
Yeah. I guess the first time I really noticed would have been at Knights camp. We used to do the 2-mile run, remember? At the track up there.
Totally. Yeah. Good times.
And Andy, our old trainer, he yanked me off the track after like 3 laps. True story.
Oh,
actually,
really?
Now that I think about it, yeah. So after that, I think I knew that I wasn't very fast, but I knew I was in shape though, because it's not like I do get gassed in practice, but like I also work pretty hard, but I was never out of shape or a guy that didn't like working. Yeah. But I would get blown away and run. So that was the very first time that I think I noticed.
Well, it's like probably the most inefficient running style ever, right?
Yeah,
like,
it is. Yeah, it's
you
not
need
great.
Ankles to run a little bit, right?
Yeah, and I can't I have no like push off. But that's something we were talking about before that I started working on like foot stuff, like foot specific stuff and ankle stuff. And like all the guys, like they always like joke around with me down in the gym because I'm always stretching and like I like sitting on my heels and stuff. Yeah. And like just things that like help ankles like move both ways all the time. So I started doing that stuff and it helps. And I'll do it. It's actually, I used to sit in net during games. Like when the play was at the other end, my parents would tell me to get up. Like when I first started playing, I'd sit on like my knees. And I do that again. Just recently, I started doing it again, but for like foot purposes, not because I was
you're tired
being lazy or whatever. When I was 5, so, that's actually something I just noticed.
That's funny. So obviously, grew up, in kind of Midwest, played all your minor hockey in that kind of area. When did hockey get really competitive for you? Where you thought, I'm going to try to play AAA, or I'm going to try to play on a travel team, or I'm going to try to push? Did that start at a young age for you, or did you kind of just play with your buddies for a while and then one day kind of go try out, made a team, like, smokes, I'm going to play?
I was pretty fortunate. The birth age around me for Pittsburgh was pretty good. I grew up playing with Brandon Sod and Steven Johns, D-Man in Dallas. And us 3, we were playing AA. Brandon was in another organization, but me and Steven played AA. And then I was pretty good. I thought, at least around my area, I knew that I was pretty good. And then Steven was really good. So he was, and he still is. He's a racehorse. He's like 6'4", 220, but like skates super fast. And then, so he knew that he was going to play, and our parents were good friends, and we were good friends. So, and I was already practicing with the 92 AAA team that was there, and they only had one goalie anyways that I knew pretty well. But I knew that I was going to play there next year anyways. So it was probably, I think that was Pee Wee. My first year Pee Wee is when I went to AAA, and then I played there. I played in Pittsburgh AAA for a while, and then we didn't have Pittsburgh. There was good players, but there was only enough good players to fill one. Maybe there was 2 AAA teams in the area. Yeah, there was one that was good, and then one that was just okay,
like an A and a B type. Thing, right?
For sure. Yeah. And A players would go to one team, and then the B team like would have good years and stuff, but they would never like beat the Hornets or. But anyways, so I played there for 3 years, and then people kind of started dwindling out of hockey, and there was no under 16 team, so I had to move to Detroit then. Okay. For a year and play midget hockey there, and then I played in the USHL after that. Okay,
and then moving away from home like that, did you bill it then obviously when you were in Detroit, or did you guys?
Yeah, it was with my aunt and uncle though.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, they lived in the Detroit area. Yeah, like just 30 minutes away from the rink. So lived with them for a year and a half actually. Cool. So yeah, it was actually fine. Just I could have lived with somebody on the team, and that would have been fine. But yeah, I've been living away from home for a little while now.
Long time.
I guess. Yeah,
for sure. Now, growing up in the States, for you going through, midget or Bantam and then midget, were you thinking the whole time, like, I'd love to get a scholarship? Were you looking at the OHL a little bit? Because I know a lot of the kids in Canada, and especially Ontario, it's like OHL, OHL, OHL. In the States, a lot of times it's college. I want to play at Michigan. I want to play at wherever that magic spot is, right? What was your goal kind of as you're going through and you're like, man, I may be able to push something out of hockey here a little bit? Was it to try to go to university? Was it try to get drafted to the OHL, or was
it was university all the way. Okay. Just like you said, we were very stereotypical in that way. Michigan in particular, Michigan's a huge family school for us, so I would have loved to go there, but I didn't think OHL, honestly, until I was done playing that first year in Des Moines that I played. I was drafted. They used to have a futures draft, it was called, and that was in like October, and they would draft kids that were currently playing midgets. So I started the year with Little Caesars, now my second year there, and I was drafted in the futures by Des Moines. Yeah. The worst team in the league at the time. So I was drafted by them. They ended up needing a change in goal because both their goalies were playing bad. I ended up going up, playing a game, played decent, came back to Little Caesars for a little bit. So this is like, I mean, I didn't really know what being called up and sent down was, I guess, at that time. I'm thinking like, I get a chance to play a junior game. This is awesome. Yeah. So I'm going up, and then I got sent down, and then finally I think the other goalie ended up quitting. He lost his scholarship or something. Okay. Something happened with the other goalie, and I ended up going up the rest of the year then when I was 16. Yeah. And then it wasn't until after that year do you know how like select festivals work and USA Hockey and stuff like that? Yeah. So there used to be a goalie camp, like just to see who's going to go to the select festivals. And it used to be in like Toledo, like for the mid-am, for our district, we were the mid-am district. And then Mark Hunter came and like watched me play there. He heard from somebody, his buddy, that he wanted a goalie that could play, that was either 16 or 17, I guess. Yeah. That was undrafted. Like he didn't want to, because the draft had already happened, I believe. Yeah. And and he came down, and we met him real quick. And I think it was mostly the name London, because I grew up thinking, probably from like 10 to 14, I pretty much thought the OHL was like pro hockey. Right. I thought that was kind of the minor league. Like everyone that plays in the OHL is going to play in the NHL pretty much. Right. And I thought college was how you get to the, not that, but I thought college was way below OHL. I got you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. So and I knew that London was the cream of the crop in the OHL. Yeah. So those were my American stereotypes when it came to the OHL, which they kind of are, but we came up and then saw London, and I mean, my old man, my dad's a physician, so he is very stern on school and like wanted me to get my schooling and stuff, and but I remember him saying that if you have a chance and you really want to, because it was also my NHL draft year. Right. And I had a chance to play for London. I know that London gets 1 million guys drafted. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of that was the deciding factor. I don't regret my decision at all. Like I'm happy I came to the OHL. For sure, man. Yeah, definitely. Now, did you have sniffs from colleges yet? Like, were you kind of getting looked at a little bit? Just starting. Yeah. Cause I was you're still young. Yeah. And I'm a late birthday probably, right? Too. So, okay. So I was back a grade. So I was only in grade 10 when I played in Des Moines, and I started talking to a couple teams, but we were the worst. Like I had 4 goals against in Des Moines. So right. Like we were not very good. Yeah. And we were getting shelled. You're getting a lot of shots though. I was getting a ton of shots. Yeah. And I kicked a couple games. I was starting to kind of feel good, but it was going to be new coaches the next year and stuff. And I was like, I'm going to be here for like 2 more years. We were just so bad. Like we kind of had the same, right? You know what I mean? So that had a little bit to do with it, but it was mostly because London was London was London, and it was just kind of what I had going in my head that like they're the best team in the OHL, and anybody that plays there gets drafted, And it's one of those things too. Like you kind of, now that you're older and you've been around, you played and stuff like that, you kind of see London like the stereotype you had in your mind that London was like almost this minor pro team, and it is run like that. Like it's run very well. It's got tons of fans, wicked rink. But I mean, Mark Hunter and Dale Hunter and the whole staff there over the years, McKellar, all these guys, they work, man. Oh yeah. They work. Like they're at a goalie clinic in Toledo, Ohio, looking at you with club feet saying, this is maybe my guy. And all of a sudden now, then you come to this organization because, man, I want to get drafted, which is very legit. Got your schooling package. I'm sure like if you decided to school, you're set, like all the stuff, it's all good.
But now that you're a little bit older, you look behind the scenes, like these guys a lot of nights aren't good by accident.
No,
like they're not just good because they have money and they have 9,000 fans and the people in the stand. Like they're good because they do work, man. They do video. They're doing, not everything's perfect, but they do work their tails off as an organization.
Yeah. And there's players that I've seen, like when I was here, that come in at 16 or 17 and like are not very good. And then they play in the NHL. Like 4 or 5 years later. Like,
totally.
I don't know if he's going to, he probably knows this anyway. Like Chris Tierney was 100%. Not that good at 16.
But your fourth line there that one year was like him, Anderson, who's decent, and
that was his second year. Yeah.
Right. So like those guys
like
are like
Athanasiou. Yeah.
And I mean, all like turned out to be real good NHL guys, all of them. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. Like, but and frustrated, not playing a lot, all this kind of stuff, but paid their dues, went through the process.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with you. And you saw it firsthand, like, being in the locker room and listening to, to the speeches and the Mark coming down and tearing strips off guys.
Yeah, they're awesome. They definitely run it the way, I mean, it's intense.
Yeah.
And you, especially like, there's teams that, after they win, they stink for 2 or 3 years until, those guys grow up and then they're 19 or 20-year-olds. And then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, the Knights are expected to win every year, and they always do. Like, I can't remember. I know there's only 10 teams a conference and 8 make it, but like, I don't think they've ever missed the playoffs since.
Since I've been in town, I don't think. Like, I think every year they at least go around or two, you know what I mean? Which is impressive.
And they're usually in the top half of the standings too.
For sure. Yeah.
Like,
what was the best? Crazy. What was who like while you were with the Knights, who got roasted the best or the worst by Mark? Like just got up and down him. Who's his favorite?
This wouldn't come as a surprise to you, but Foxy got it pretty good. like he and Jared Knight got it good too, but Foxy, that was a lot of self-inflicted.
Though. For sure, man. Yeah. And what a natural talent though, man. Like for how big of a train wreck he could be at times, just being a funny dude and whatever.
Yeah, I saw him at a concert last week. Actually.
Did you really?
Yeah.
He's doing all right. He's got a little 1A and kind of chilling with.
He's playing in Germany. Yeah, he has like a good little thing going over there.
He's got a daughter too, right? Like,
don't know.
No, I think so. I'm pretty sure he does. Yeah, but I heard he's doing really well, and he's a guy who kind of turned his kind of life around a little bit, kind of got on the right track, and seems to be doing some good things, which is great.
Yeah,
because in hockey you're gonna cross all kinds of paths, right? But that's one thing about Mark is like because he cares, but he has no problem setting guys straight or telling guys what they need to work on.
And I saw, like, I liked Mark a lot better, and I'm sure a lot of guys did as a coach, because we had him. Dale went to Washington.
Oh, that's right.
And then Mark came in, and that's who we ended up. Mark was coach when we won, but but he was like way different as a coach than GM. GM, he is all business. Coach, he was almost more personable than Dale. Like you're still pretty intimidated by Dale, but Mark was pretty good players coach. We loved him, and we were winning a lot too, which I'm sure
makes
helped.
It easier, right? Yeah, for sure. So obviously undrafted the go there, have an unreal OHL career. Like obviously win the OHL Championship, go to the Memorial Cup, have a real good run there, win goalie of the year. All this, like playing well, got a good team, but man, you were a backstop for them for a solid 2 years and putting up good, good numbers and things like that. Not getting drafted, missing kind of out on the NHL draft, 1 year, and then have an unbelievable year again and miss out on it again. No one steps up to grab you. As a guy that's playing well, regardless of size, stature, anything like that, like it's got to be a bit disheartening when you're finishing the year and getting ready for that June draft, and all these guys that you played and beat are getting drafted. And you're like, what's going on?
Yeah. The first time I didn't get drafted was tough, but I'd also just played 20 something games at like Mike Hutchinson was the other goalie my first year. Yeah. So I played like 20 something games and I played okay. I had good games. I had bad games, like pretty bad games. And like looking back on it now, it's kind of fun. Like I've seen myself play when I was like 16, 17, 18 now. And like, I was not very good. Although goaltending has changed since then, but like,
you look back, you're like,
oh my gosh. Like it's like, it's weird how I was getting around the net. Like it didn't look like I was pushing. It looked like I was, I don't know. It looked like I was kind of just like limbs everywhere, but but that one was tough. But the last year I was really surprised with. After we went to Memorial Cup, I had a really good personal year too, but like didn't get drafted. And I thought, and like, not that everyone looks at like central scouting and stuff, like you're crazy if you don't.
Yeah,
if you're
yeah,
that
for
age.
sure.
Like everyone does.
For sure.
So I for sure thought I was going to get drafted, but didn't happen. And then went to Florida a couple weeks later, ended up signing there, which was fine. But I mean, I'm not really disappointed anymore because, I mean, if it happened, it happened. But I also thought at the time that it was partially due to my feet.
Sure.
Like, because I went after that year, I stayed here to finish high school. So I ended up going to, I went to Toronto for a visit, and I think I met a couple teams actually up here in the lobby outside Western Fair. I met with like San Jose, like a couple other teams, but we, in Toronto, I remember this, we were at MasterCard Center and we were in the gym and doing like I was telling you before, like ankle flexion stuff and balance stuff. And I'm falling everywhere and like so embarrassed because like there's 20 other guys that are there and like Maple Leafs Gitch too. And I'm like, like this is brutal. And I feel like that was tough. And then I don't know, and then not getting drafted. So it just kind of all snowpiled and like, I knew I still had my OA year to go back for still.
Yeah. So you had a place to play.
I knew,
you're set that way.
Yeah. But like, I remember earlier that hockey season, not my goal was to play pro. So that's the only reason I say this. The St. Thomas a university out east? Yeah. The St. Thomas scout came up to my mom and like started talking to her like at one of the games and was like, he's probably not going to play pro. Like he could, so it was just like all that kind of stuff. And then I ended up signing with Florida a couple weeks later. So at least like that. And then I kind of,
because I mean, let's be honest, like anybody who plays in the O, and once you got in the O, you kind of recognize the lay of the land. Okay, this isn't a minor pro league, but this is a stepping stone. Like you kind of see that. And like nobody wants to hear that they're going to play in the CIS. Like no offense to the CIS, it's a great league. It's awesome. Like it is actually good hockey, but man, everybody that plays in the O for the most part wants to try to go play pro. Like, right? So when schools are talking at 19, you're like, no, get away from me. Get away from me.
Yeah, that was brutal. Yeah.
For sure. Now going back to your club feet real quick. We talked a little bit beforehand, but whether you're, for me, I was going bald, and it wasn't until I was in college, and guys are ruthless, but I didn't realize I was going bald until we were at a game. I'm sitting like 10 rows down watching buddies play. A couple buddies are up top watching the game. I go up to see them. Like, holy smokes, Blazer, you're going bald, man. I'm like, no, I'm not that. Guys, right? Joke, whatever. Get home that day, got 7 mirrors, like looking everywhere, trying to find like, holy shit, I'm thin, man. So always self-conscious about it. Like always, until I finally shaved my head and said, I don't care anymore. Now I'm old, it doesn't matter. But at the time, you're like, everyone's looking at my bald spot, right? So for you going through this, like as a hockey guy, as an athlete, being a good athlete too, I don't know you're strong, and we talked about it earlier. Like you can keep up with anybody without all 99% of the stuff. It's just with that, was it a little bit self-conscious in certain parts of your life? Like as you're, 12, 13, 14, kind of going to camps, going to clinics, whatever you're doing. Like, was it something that kind of bugged you a little bit, or were you like, whatever?
No, I was kind of whatever growing up for sure. Yeah. Just because like goalie camps that I would go to, I was always one of the better ones on the ice. So like off the ice, I didn't really care, but like, in like the team setting in the winter, sometimes like during a workout or like you would go mess around with your team. And like, I mean, when you're 15, 16, like Steven Johns, I was telling you about, like his calves are this big. Right. So like I'm looking at him, I'm like, what is going on right now? Like I was looking back and forth and but like, no, I honestly probably didn't like actually realize that I was off with like the balance and the running until probably honestly Knights camp. Yeah. Okay. Like until I actually had to come here and I saw like 20-year-olds that I know I'm going to have to go on the ice and play against that are like I can go in the gym and like I can squat as much as them and do like all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I was just as strong as them. I just can't run, and I can like stay on the I'm fine cardio wise. Yeah. It's just running, just the stride. And like that's I say it all the time. That's if I could do one thing, I would love to be able to run well. Like if I had one wish, I would love to be able to run well. Yeah. And just be like a racehorse, like some of these guys out here on track days. Like it's
crazy. And some of those guys would say, I would like to never run again. Right?
Yeah.
Some of the guys that can run are like, I don't ever want to run again.
And I stink on the assault bike too. So I don't have anything going right now.
Yeah, exactly. But like kind of going through that, do you think that, cause I mean, let's be honest, like going through your career at 15, 16, and then all the way through, like boys are ruthless. If you have one hair out of place, you have one eyebrow, you have one unibrow, like they're going to be all over you. So I'm sure like the boys love ripping on you and carving you about your small calves and your weird feet.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And like never doesn't really bother me anymore. Like, and it never really did, just because it was usually on it. Like Foxy would chirp me all the time about it. How's he coming up so much right now? He would chirp me all the time about it, but then I would just chirp him like, that was mostly like hockey players, like hockey buddies chirping each other. That's all. Like nobody would ever be gutty towards him. Yeah. And like, even if it doesn't really matter, because I could still run and jump. I'm not good. I'm not good at it. Yeah. And like I have bad balance, but I could still play hockey. Yeah. Like I couldn't play forward. Like it would be funny watching me try to play forward. Right. But I can play goalie. Like I don't look, I think I honestly, sometimes I watch myself and I used to look weird, I think, playing goalie. Right. Oh yeah. Okay. I feel like you could see a difference. That's why I might not be surprised that I didn't get drafted, because you can tell when a goalie is super smooth out there. And like, that's all goaltending, for drafting is projections. For sure. So like you see their feet and you see their hands. I feel like those are the two things you look at first. And then you can pretty much fix anything else technically. Yeah. But you see, like if they have the good feet and they're quick, I don't think I was that quick. I think I'm quicker now, no doubt, but I don't think I was that quick then though. Yeah. So I think that probably had something. It's interesting though. And the reason I'm bringing this up is I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but having something like that, like going through, your whole life with operations and just being a little bit different than other guys, would you not agree that kind of makes you even a little bit more mentally tough, easier to deal with shitty situations, or guys throwing stuff at you and you're like, yeah, whatever, like it's not a big deal, like, Yeah, somewhat. Again, like it's never been like a huge thing, other than thinking that that's why I didn't get drafted. Sure. So, but then that lasted like 2 weeks, and then after I signed, then it kind of solidified it that like, obviously, like they didn't care. So, but then again, you might be thinking like, I thought I was going to be with Florida for the rest of my career. So you might be thinking there's 29 other teams that care now. So like you kind of go back and forth with it, but I mean, it is what it is. There's nothing I can do. Like there's no more surgeries that I can do that'll fix them. Like that'll fix them more. They're fine. Like, I mean, I've played on them this long. So, but I don't know. I might be a little more mentally tough. Like I think as a goalie, you're more mentally tough anyways. 100%. Players would disagree, but no, you know what? I'm a player, and I've gotten more respect for goaltenders. I always respected goalies, but I have way more respect for goalies now that I do what I do, because when I'm on the ice with you guys and doing a skill session, like even though with a ton of skill coaches, I'm sure that don't really care about the goalies, and you're getting, peppered in different areas. And sometimes I do it to goalies too, but I try to like, hey, let me know if the reps are too tight, or let me know if they're getting too many shots, or jump out of the net if you have to. But I think it's a hard position. One of the biggest reasons why I think it's a hard position, why goalies are like weird when everyone says that goalies are weird, right? Is you guys are like, if I mess up on the ice as a forward or a D, I come back to the bench, I get feedback from the coach, or I get yelled at, or I get to talk to my buddy, be like, hey, what happened there? You guys get scored on, or something happens. You're stuck in half a cage talking to yourself, basically. You know what I mean? And who knows what's running through your head on how shitty you played that play, or how bad your defense were, or whatever's going on, right? So for me, I don't understand it, because I've been a goalie once in my life or twice in my life. But for you doing it day to day, like to me, that's where I think goalies are different. I think they are mentally a little bit tougher than players for the most part, right? And like some of the stuff goalies have to do, like some of it's tough, some of it stinks. Like if a player plays bad, he gets sat on the bench. If a goalie plays bad, he has to skate off the ice. Yeah, like that sucks. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's such a different position. Like I started thinking about hockey more like, or goaltending, I should say, because this is where players and goalies are different. I think is I started, and I think it was Halak I heard say this in an interview. He said that he started taking each rush, like each time it enters the zone, as like its own play, like it's practice. Okay. So like the play comes in, like if it's a 2-on-1, it's a 2-on-1 drill or whatever. Yeah, right. Like everything's its own play. And I kind of took it like I love like being American, obviously. I love football, love baseball. So like everything, like there's one play in football and then it resets. Gotcha. And like that's how I started kind of thinking about like each save, like or each play. Like players, like they have to go all three zones, but like I'm only down there, and like each play, like cross ice, make a save, and then, you know,
Reset.
wherever the rebound goes. And then, you know, there's usually a little battle at least. And then it'll go up top and now it's a low to high play.
Cool.
So like, I started thinking, and that helped. Like I might have, you know, 60 plays in a game and maybe, you know, 15 of them aren't, you know, they don't get a shot or anything or they miss the net. But, you know,
that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's really cool, actually.
Yeah.
I never would have, like, I wouldn't think of a game like that, but I think that's really, really cool. And even for young goalies to like break their game, because we always talk about breaking your game down into shifts, breaking your game down into periods, but for a goaltender, breaking it down into opportunities or like rushes, or like you're saying, reset. And every time you make a save or there's no rebound, there's a battle, it's a reset. It's a fresh start almost.
Yeah. So that's what, like when I'll watch like game tape now, and Rochester does a great job at cutting games for like the whole organization. They have a really good setup there, but when I get game tape now, I'll go through it and I'll like say like, okay, now like the play start, like this is when like I'm ready. It's really when I'm working. Like,
gotcha. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Cause like there's so much time, like goalies down like this too. And that's why everyone says goalies are lazy, like plays at the other end and you're like this. And then like all of a sudden like play happens, but then like, I had to figure this out recently too. And it's crazy the stuff you think you know everything and you're ready for the NHL at like 23, 24, but like I'm like you realize so much more now. Like if the puck's in the corner, I don't have to like, and there's a little battle going on, I don't have to be like fully engaged. Sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can look around, like take a look. I don't have to like burn my legs out then. Yeah. And then this is when like the thing I was talking about, I'm like, okay, now the play's happening. Like this is the next play now. Guy, you know, came up with the puck. Now he's going up the wall. Like, where's the other guy going? Like, and you've done it. If you think about it, like every play that happens, you've pretty much done it in practice.
Yeah.
Like
for sure.
Like we did backdoor saves today in practice. And like, I tried to take like each of those as like its own play and stuff, you know?
Which by the way is a bagger for you guys.
It is, but it's good.
Yeah, it's great.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cause like and then they go up the wall and then they throw it across again. You got to find where the guy is. Yeah. But like, that stuff's good. I really like that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's really good advice, especially for young goaltenders, that like even not burning yourself out. It's like players sometimes. Tell players like you don't have to go. Like I know everyone says keep your feet moving as a player, but you don't have to go 100 miles an hour all the time. Yeah. You need to glide a bit, see what's going on, be smart. Like, and for goalies, same thing. Like if you're Johnny Eager and you're net for a 40-second, 50-second hemmed in your zone, you're gonna be gassed by the time that puck goes out. Yeah. And then it turns over again. Now you're back in one.
Yeah. Mine's like I guess bigger scale where I hate giving like, and it doesn't ruin my game. It doesn't ruin my game anymore. It used to, but if I give up a goal in the first like 5-10 minutes of a game, like it just feels like you have an uphill climb. Like now you're behind the 8 ball on the scoreboard. You're behind, you know, stat wise, you're behind the 8 ball, like all that. You know what I mean? So I almost go way too hard, like blow my load way too early in the game, and like everything that comes in, like I'm trying to get to behind the net, and like I'm a little overactive at the beginning of games, I think. And but I guess the thing that that's another story. But yeah, that's I'm a little too active. And
so are you conscious of that now, and you kind of like slow it down a little bit at the beginning and kind of ease yourself into it? Yeah, yeah.
I get more scrambly. Like on rebounds, I'll be like right on to them, or even like if the D man's like skating it up the zone, I like want to get like a little, I don't know. And I think I burn my legs out a little too early in games. Not that like, obviously if we get hemmed, like I got to work, like stuff happens, but unnecessarily sometimes is the best way to put it. I think I burn myself out a little bit. Yeah.
It's interesting though. Cause like, you know, I look back on even my short career, but I look back on like when I played in midget, and I say like kind of you said earlier, like I was pretty shitty, man. I look at my college, I'm like I was not very good at hockey. Like I got better at my last couple of years of college, and pro was when I was like, okay, now I'm starting to get the game. But I got the game because I understood better what type of player I was. Yeah, you know, because you go from junior where you're like a point guy, and I wasn't a point guy. Like, and then I get to college, pay your dues, and by the end of college, you're a point guy a bit because you're a fourth year guy and you're playing a lot. So okay, great. And then you get the pro, and pro's like that'll eat you up and spit you out in a second. Yeah. And then when I started to embrace what I was like, this is great. Like I loved it. It was awesome. You know what I mean? And for you too, like you're looking back on it, like maybe I did move a little bit inefficiently. Maybe I did. And you made a lot of changes, worked your tail off, you know, to get to where you are, obviously. But now you look back and I'm assuming like so much has changed, and even just your approach to the game.
Oh yeah. Right? Like, yeah. And this is what I was going to say earlier, is that this is this past year was my best year as a pro, I'd say. It's probably been my best year since my last year in London. But I started doing like vision training, like actual training, not just like juggling and stuff, but like
was it on that? Was it a board? Like was it?
The wheel board, and you got the glasses on,
Yeah.
the green and red lenses, and you got to like follow them, cover one eye, and then like try to make them come together and stuff. That stuff is so good.
Yeah.
And I haven't done it. I honestly haven't done it since the end of the season. And I noticed it out on the ice. Like, like guys walking, I felt like now I feel like I have a chance to like stop shots like right from the slot. Like I feel like there's a chance to stop like almost every shot as long as I can push over and get to like other things. But if I'm there, I feel like I can stop every shot because my eyes are good. Like that was one thing that I never really thought of. Like it was all about like body for me, like stretching for sure, like being mobile, but it was being strong and mobile together. And like now I never thought about my eyes like ever.
That's cool.
So now that was the thing that like, I don't know how I was stopping puck even like so much as 2 years ago.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
So that's something that you'll adopt
so
and you're going to keep in your game plan.
Like no matter what. Yeah. The Sabres have this guy, like he's like part of the organization, the vision trainer. And he we saw him in camp. We had him in camp, and then he goes to Roch and Cincy and Buffalo like once a year. But we have a computer program, and we would do it once a week.
Oh, cool.
And like all 6 goalies are in the organization that are in the 3 teams. So we had like a set of gear at each location, like one of the wheels, one of the strobe glasses, like stuff like that. Yeah. And we would do a session once a week, and he would send it to us. Then we'd have to send our scores back. Cool. So it was like it kind of felt like homework, but it's good. Yeah. Like it's work. Like it's, you know what I mean? Yeah. It felt like it was work that you had to do away from the rink that you didn't mind doing. Yeah. Because it was it helped so much. You felt everything looked like it was in HD afterwards. Really, eh? It's so cool, yeah.
That is neat. Yeah. Now, how was the feedback from the other goalies? Like your partner stuff, were they like really loving it?
Yeah. There was a goalie, I don't know who it was. There was somebody that didn't like it, I guess, that didn't like, or maybe they didn't like when he visited or something like that, but
overall, it was pretty productive.
Oh,
most of the goalies, eh?
Yeah, cool. I think everyone loved it.
So even for young
I don't know
guys,
how you wouldn't.
Yeah, and it's something to maybe seek out, right? Because there's a lot of different, ways that people I think do the vision training. But I think anything's going to be good, and find something that you like, and then
well, it's not like exerting at all. Yeah. Like I would do it at 8. I would do it at 8 o'clock with a hockey game on the background or something. Like it would just be I'd just be sitting there. I'm not doing anything else. So at least you feel like you're getting better. It's
cool,
not doing anything.
But anything like the way things are going now with like just technology, right? Like anything that can give you a bit of an edge, and even if it's just a mental edge where you feel like, mentally sharp or whatever it is, I think it's massive. Like it's
no doubt
huge for sure.
Yeah. And like not that this is not like I'm big into like the electrolyte stuff now too, like all that kind of stuff. But like if I don't have it, it's so in my head. If I like if I run out, don't have it on the road or whatever, like it's in my head now. So, but like all that stuff is like not juggling before games in my head. Like
really, eh?
Oh yeah.
So are you pretty superstitious then overall, or just you have your things?
But I think that I have like a band sequence that I do, and then like juggling, and then like all that kind of stuff. But like I think it's not that I could play a hockey game without it, obviously, but it's stuff that I know will help me. Yeah. Like if my eyes are sharp, then I could you almost feel like you could stop any puck. Yeah. Because you're so focused on, you see it coming like so quickly off the tape that like as long as your hands are moving and your eyes are working, then like you're there. Yeah. There's really, everything else is technical. You can't give up softies or anything, but like if you could see the puck, you can pretty much stop it.
Yeah. Oh, it's cool, man.
You have to react to it too.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's great. I just started thinking about that like this year. So I was like, and even now, like I haven't done it in so long. So I'll be on the ice now, and like I'll find myself sometimes I'm not like really looking at the puck. I don't know what I'm like looking vaguely at the puck, but it's not like a sharp image. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not picking it up as clear, and I'm a little bit slower at it. Yeah. But like if I do it on like a Thursday and I'm playing on a Friday, it's like it's really sharp. And like it doesn't always work out that way. You're going to get scored on too. Yeah,
but, definitely.
But like it does help. Like
That's
morning
cool.
skate, like I'm usually dialed that morning skate.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. What, do you know the name of the program?
It's, no, I know the name of the guy. It's, it's Josh Tucker is the guy's name. He's out of Minnesota.
Okay.
And like he has goalies going there, like pro goalies going there in the summer. And he has like, at least from the videos on his Instagram, he has like tennis ball nets set up, like bank boards and stuff. And he puts a lot of the stuff too is there's a new thing in like, this is like goalie specific now. There's a new thing
we're
called
gonna nerd out here.
Yeah, we're goalie nerding out real quick. Yeah. Okay. It's called head trajectory. So it's like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So like 100%. If you have no peripherals and like a shot's coming, you have to like move your head to the puck kind of thing. Yeah. So like that's huge now. And like without, like I haven't done this in a few months, I find myself not doing that as much too. I was better at it today, but like before because I have to like, I usually don't have to tell myself to do it now because I haven't done it. Oh yeah, I have to tell myself to do it. So that's the like biggest thing that it helps with. But he has like these glasses that'll, I forgot where I was going with this. He had these glasses that'll, you could do it with tennis balls off the ice. So that's what I warm up with. Okay, is that, and he has like a board that you throw a tennis ball against, and it takes like different bounces. Like within, it's like the perfect setup.
It's like a wobble ball, like remember those wobble balls that you throw and they kind of reaction balls.
Yeah, so it's like that, but the board does it instead of the ball, and it's just a tennis ball. Okay, so it's like reverse.
You got to react your hands to that. Yeah, that ball bounces
with the glasses on. Yeah, so that's my favorite drill because I think that's the best pregame thing. Like if I could take the board on the road, I just throw it against the wall because I don't have a board there. But I could take
and the glasses are basically just like
the glasses are unreal. Oh yeah, they're just normal like. They look like swim goggles that he there's like 2 pieces of plastic that cover right here on the goggle.
It's like horse blinders on the
horse blinders.
So they look great at the bar. Like if you're going to the bar,
they would look good. Yeah,
girls would like that.
I was actually gonna wear them in Barney's last week, and they're in my kit bag down in my bag right now. They probably stink.
You should, for sure. No one else gonna want to wear them. No way. But and for you, like what? Obviously you've gotten where you are right now, being undrafted in the undrafted in the NHL, and now playing pro for a number of years. Obviously off work ethic, you know what I mean? Like, and obviously you've evolved and you're seeking out new ways to get better and things like that. But where did that work ethic come from? Like, obviously your dad's successful, your mom, I'm sure, has done well, and you got brothers and sisters and stuff. Was it something was kind of instilled in the family? Were you one of the, if you look at your brothers and sisters, were they all like obviously good people and stuff, but did you just have something a little bit different, or were you pushed by it, or?
Yeah, partially that. I mean, I guess everyone's product of their environment too. So yeah, I mean, both my parents are extremely hardworking. Yeah. I think, I was really hardworking in juniors. Could have worked harder, I think. Not that I was lazy at all by any means, but I could have worked harder, I think, my first few years pro. Yeah. And now I'm starting to realize again, the last couple of years, that if I want to keep playing, I gotta work my nuts off. Yeah. Again, like on the ice, I have to work. I don't think I was working it. I was always a hard worker off the ice. Sure. Because I didn't mind like going to the gym and working out and riding the bike and stuff, not running because but I didn't mind doing that. Yeah. On the ice, like I don't know. There was a little phase there where maybe I didn't work as hard as I could have. Yeah. But now I realize like even if you're gassed, it's gonna help. Yeah. Like, obviously, so, I don't know, but it partially is because too, like I want to play as long as I can. Like I don't really have any plans to do anything else at the moment. So I want to play as long as I can. And I think I have to work pretty hard. So that's why like it always made me feel good too, to do stuff outside the rink, like the vision stuff and stretching and the mobility stuff. So, you'd work hard at the rink and then take 5 hours off and then do your other stuff at nighttime. So I think that worked well for me. So I don't know, but I want to keep playing. So I think that's pretty much what it takes.
And it's a maturity thing too, right? Like you're getting older now, you kind of see that. And I like the honesty, because I think a lot of times, you talk to guys like, no, I've been, I'm working hard. And you see guys that they have their little bit of success their first year pro maybe, or sign a deal or whatever that is. And then kind of take the foot off the gas a little bit, even if it's just subconsciously, maybe going to more concerts, maybe going to more whatever. Yeah. And not spending as much time on their craft. And then, and that's why I love the group like that, your buddies that are here that train, that a lot of these guys are on the same page.
Yeah. Or like, you would have seen it. Like I had 100%. if I'm missing a Friday, it's for a good reason.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I would miss and, you know, it was for being a little too hungover, you know what I mean? So like I'm starting to not starting to, I always felt guilty about it. But now like I realize that, you know, your body is what you need to play goalie. Like I need my body to be, you know, to not be injured or not be hurt or not be, you know, hurting. So, so I kind of figured that out, and now I think I have a pretty good routine going.
Yeah. And you got a bunch of guys that are like-minded, which makes it easier. You know what I mean? Like, everyone likes to pick their spots, have some fun, like
group,
no problem. But guys aren't pulling you every single night to go do something. You know what I mean? Like, and if you're saying, no, I can't, I feel like shit. Like guys are like, okay, no problem. You know,
or like everyone for the most part is pretty dialed during the week, and then weekend we like to have fun.
Totally,
But that's summer, and everyone's still like towards camp. It's like, how are you doing on the bike? What's your bike times? Like, how long are you going? Like everyone still talks about it and like cares and stuff like that. So it is cool. Like, and everyone, I mean, we're all natural competitors too. So we always compete in the gym at stuff, and like
for sure.
And like, well, you see like Kegger and I,
I love it. Like even the chirper on the ice is the best. Like,
I almost don't want to skate anymore if he's not out there. It's not fun. It's not that fun.
The best is when he like messes a pass or like
it's so
puck,
good.
and it's like, good job, Kegger, as he's skating by the net. Like I love it. Yeah, no, it's great. And like that's the thing. Like for me, being removed from the game a little bit, and maybe on the other side a little bit as a coach and behind the scenes on stuff, I love seeing how hard some guys work and guys getting rewarded. And even for you, like obviously hope for the best and playing the NHL. And, you know, we saw it this year with a guy like Biddington, like you never know. And if you're not ready, it's not going to happen. If you're ready, then man, who knows what happens. Right. And for you, like, you know, I think the hard work and being around this, you know, group of guys that all push the same way. And, you know, I love seeing that. And for me, it's, you know, on our side of what we do for Mitch and all these guys that are behind the scenes doing stuff, like we just want whatever your goal is, we want to see it, man. We see guys sign contracts or, you know, re-up, like hopefully re-ups. It's just like, man, this is amazing. Like it's cool to see guys going through their craft and working hard at it, and then, you know, getting rewarded a little bit. And even for a guy that, you know, like yourself, maybe hasn't played in the NHL yet, gone to camps, you're part of organizations. Every year someone wants you. Like you're not sitting there with a sign, you know, struggling to play pro, which is awesome, you know. And I'm excited because I kind of told you this before, you know, we've had other pro guys, minor pro guys coming out to skate as a goaltender with our pro groups, and you've always been around as well. But if you're not there, someone else comes out. It is night and day, like when you're out there, just as far as, I'm not trying to pump you up, but just the quality of goaltending that even in practice, and you're getting a ton of shots. But what I love about it is just to compete. Like when the puck gets by you, you throwing your stick back to grab it. Yeah. And the play's dead. No one's even touching that puck, right? Yeah. And just those little things that I feel are, you know, and what makes me excited about it is like, man, I hope that now that you're starting to find your stride, you feel like, hey, I'm a better goalie than I was last year and 2 years ago and 3 years ago. Then who knows what happens in being in a situation where you can play, you know?
I know. And that's like, that was something that I could admit that I didn't always do either. I always had the battle in the games, but in practice, I was not always playing things out. So I think that like, that's something that I know if it becomes a habit, it helps so much. Cause like, even on things that you're dead on, like how many times do you see guys shoot backdoor passes back to the middle of the net or on the other side of the net, like all the time. Yeah. So if you stick something out, you have a chance to make the save. Like if they put it short side, they're going to score, and then you can blame it on your defenseman. But but before that, like if they shoot it back to the middle of the net, like I feel bad now, even if it's a backdoor pass and I don't push. Like if I bite, I still want to like pick up an edge and push over and at least reach like this or throw it, like, because you still have a chance. And I didn't always do that, but I started doing that more in practice, and now I do it. Like I'll always always try and get something on it
behind the scenes, like as a like let's say part of the coaching staff a little bit. If I'm in Washington or if I'm in, you know, if I'm in Hershey or wherever I am, like that stuff goes a long way on the coaching side. You're like, man, see HOUSER today, like battles, man. Yeah, and that's a consistent thing. So that's now all of a sudden that's part of your resume when coaches are talking about Michael HOUSER. Do we need it? We need a goalie. Like, okay, well, you have to pay him, but man, he battles. He's a good guy. He works hard. Yeah, he battles. And I think that's something that for you, it's a feather in your cap. But man, that's a good change.
Yeah. Well, I think like that's part of the reason too that I re-signed with Rochester for this coming year. I think is the way like they have a goaltender coming in from Sudbury, that Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. He won goalie of the year in the OHL this past year. Yeah. And then I was with Jonas Johansson last year. He was the 3rd rounder to Buffalo prospect, but they liked the way that like JJ and I pushed each other too. So like whoever I'm with, I think they're going to like the way that, you know, I compete in practice. Cause you see a goalie kicking at the other end, like making huge saves and like stopping guys in practice. You don't want to be the guy giving up every goal. So like you're going to start kicking too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
or like
for sure,
trying to get across, like stretching and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not just conceding goals. So I think they like that. And like they told me that. So that felt nice.
Oh, that's awesome, man. The other thing too, I don't want to keep you all day, but I could chat with you all day because it's great. One thing too, like as a player, you've got 9 forwards or 12 forwards. You've got 6, 7 D, you know, so you got a group of D, you got a group of forwards. As a goaltender, you have 2 of you. Not that you guys are 100% part of the team and buddies with everybody, but you know, we've got 9 other guys to talk to or 12 other guys to talk to on our position or our kind of forward, you know, group or whatever. What's it like with goalie partners kind of as you were going through? I'm sure that sometimes, you know, you got 2 people. So if I got 9, I'm going to gel with a couple of them. I'm going to not like a couple of them.
Right.
You got 2 guys. I mean, you might gel, you might not, you might respect each other, you may not like each other. Like, what's it like having goalie partners and probably new ones every year, every couple of years? Is it mostly pretty good, or are there times where it's just like, man, I just got to get through this year with this guy?
No, I've been pretty fortunate. I think. I mean, I don't think there's many bad goalie partners out there.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's guys that have chirped me behind my back because I mean, like, you're never gonna be not cordial to your goalie partner. It's kind of unwritten rule. You know what I mean? Like you're never gonna be mean to him or anything. And I've thrown little hissy fits in the room where I like if I'm not playing a few games in a row or something, like I'll be in a bad mood, and I don't like. Now that I'm getting a little bit older, like I'm not really trying to hide it. I don't mind if people see it, so they know that like I'm mad. You know what I mean? So, but my goalie partner this year came up and he was like, "Man, I didn't know that I was going to play all 3 this week." And I was like, "Man, that is not on you, like, because it's really not." And so, like, I've never had a problem with any of my goalie partners. I've been better buddies with some of them. Yeah, there's some that like I would never, you know, ask. Like not want to go, but I would just never go to dinner with them on the road, you know? Yeah. But I feel like that's like,
it's normal.
Yeah. It's normal. Yeah. And you know, like when you start talking shop too, and like with both goalies around and like who played which game and like you're like you know, forwards, it's like, they're all playing, you know?
Totally. It's
the same as a healthy scratch, like talking about hockey, like too. Yeah. You know what I mean? Cause like, I don't know. So, you don't usually talk hockey with goalie. You talk goaltending with goalies or like the goals you gave up. But like in general, you don't talk about like games you're playing, games you're not playing. You just let the coach tell you. And like the worst is when like I've had a few years where the coach is like really brutal at telling who's playing the game. And it'll be like night before, we don't know. So we're starting to like text each other at our own apartments, not knowing who's playing.
What's going on? Yeah.
And we're like, So like that. So like that's the shitty part is like. And then you know, if I'm like, I'll text him. He texts me back. He's like, the other guy's playing. Now I got to look at this like on my phone and then text him and be like, hey, you're playing tomorrow. It's not really my job. You know what I mean?
That's brutal.
But you know, that's the minors.
No, but I think that also too, some of that has to do with like just people skills, like how you deal with it.
True.
Right?
Very
like,
true.
Which sucks. Yeah. Definitely. But I think like to your point, you're right. Like if I'm healthy scratching a game, and I'm going out for dinner with the boys, I don't want to hear about how good everyone played the night before and how you got a hat trick and how this, like, let's just talk about something else. Let's try to like go pick up girls. Let's do something like get my mind off this because I want to quit hockey tomorrow. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And I think as a goaltender, like you said, if you miss 3 games in a row, he's played 3 in a row. If I play limited minutes, but I'm dressing every game, at least I'm on the bench. I'm part of it a bit. I'm getting maybe 3 minutes a game, which sucks.
And you still could say, like, talk about something that happened during your shift.
100%.
Like, see that puck bounce over my stick or something? Like
I can go take a penalty.
Yes, right? Or something.
Like, yeah. Whereas for a goalie, I mean, that's a grind. Like a 3-3 in the A or in the E, and you're not playing. Like, that's a tough one for sure.
Yeah.
So moving forward, coming up this year, obviously you're in Roch, and then how does all that work out for you coming up? Like, get ready for the camp, and then are you going to the NHL camp to start, and then to the A? Yeah,
I think I'll go to Buffalo. Yeah. It's they have to wait and see. I think about a junior guy, but I think I'm going to be in Buffalo. One of the goalies had hip surgery, so I'll go there whenever that is, mid-September. Yeah. But until then, I'll be here, and then I'll go home and see my folks back in Pittsburgh for a few weeks before, and then it's actually been super nice the past few years. Now that I've been with Buffalo's organization, it's just 3-hour drive.
Yeah, it's close.
Yeah, it's so nice.
Yeah.
So at least I don't have to hop on a flight. That's the worst thing I hate doing is flying with my hockey gear.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the worst. Getting the receipts and stuff.
And keeping your like fingers crossed your gear made it.
Yeah, or not make it.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of leave it this, but if you were talking to a young goalie right now that's kind of, you 10, let's say 10, 11, 12, 13 kind of going up, what are some of the most important things that a goaltender would need to like focus on at those kind of young ages? Just, and it could be off the charts. It could be just be mentally tough. Don't worry about the outside noise or get a routine or whatever. But is there certain things that you look at now as an older guy, like as far as just playing pro now and being a kind of a little bit of a veteran of the game, looking back saying, man, if had I dialed this in a little bit at a younger age, it probably would have helped me a little bit in junior or older, Yeah.
Honestly, it might be the eye stuff.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, I don't know how goalies aren't training their eyes, at least by the way that it helped me.
Well, when you say it, it sounds so stupidly simple. Like, yeah, why wouldn't you train your eyes? Like,
I know.
Like you need that's probably the most important thing on a goaltender, really, right? Like
it's like the most important thing on everyone, but like players mostly like the puck's on the ice, but the puck can go anywhere around like in the 4x6, right? Yeah. So you have to be able to react to it. Other than that, like obviously take care of your body, but like that's more like me, my age now, like 26, like I want to avoid injury as much as possible. Yeah. Obviously. So like now I know I need to start taking care of my body too. For, kids that are that age, like I wasn't doing a mobility class twice a week or anything like that either. So yeah, like as long as you're being active and stuff, and I guess be an athlete too, like because
you played a bunch of sports.
Yes, you don't need to see like I love taking goalie sessions as much as anyone. But like, I don't think you need to be on the ice with a goalie coach, 2-3 times a week for a whole summer. Yeah. Like, I agree. I think like swinging a baseball bat is awesome. Like golfing, obviously, but like something, Yeah. I would say like, and I say this kind of jokingly, but not really, is that like running would be awesome too. If I were a good runner, I would run all the time, I think.
Yeah. Like when you're younger.
When I was younger, oh yeah.
Well, I know for me as a player, like I knew when I started kind of getting really into it at, whatever that was, let's say it was probably 13, 14, but I couldn't run. Like I remember the first time I ever ran, I had a program from like a gym teacher that was like, run 30 seconds, walk a minute. Like I strictly remember this in order to be able to run like a kilometer at a time without stopping. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I couldn't, like it was a bagger, man. And then I got better and better and better. And then once I started to run, like I loved running. And to your point, like, yeah, like even when I played pro, when we have a week, I was a better player when I ran once a week, just like a 3-mile run, nothing long, but I felt way better on the weekend. So if we had like, the East Coast and the A's, like a lot of 3-and-3s, I played in the East Coast League, but so you had like jam up the weekend, right? But I felt way better. And that was just, you may have been like that too, who knows? Yeah. But yeah, finding something that kind of, for me, it got my mind off the game. I felt better mentally and obviously physically it's good for you, but yeah.
I guess stuff that's like helping this, like baseball would be good because you're catching, throwing, like it's hands, and then you can work on your feet like on the ice then, or foot quickness somewhere else. Yeah. But like something with your hands where you're like catching things, or like hand-eye coordination in golf, like something that you're swinging at, like a club sport, I guess you could say. Yeah. Or volleyball would be good too. Yeah. So any of those. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's important for kids to like understand, and parents understand that maybe your kid loves hockey like you did and I did, and that's what we wanted to do, but I think it is important to put the gear away once in a while and do other things and be a kid and go swimming, go play other sports, go do other things with your buddies and enjoy that part of it too. Cause I don't know, I always felt I loved hockey and I could have probably done it 12 months a year, but I was always refreshed. I was looking forward to September or August whenever tryouts were coming back out, or, camp was coming back.
I just think like the best hockey players are usually fairly athletic.
For sure.
You know what I mean? They could pick up a sport and figure it out. Like they don't look dumb playing it. Yeah. So I just think like the better, like the more just natural, like athletic you are, the better you'll be at hockey.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
You know what I mean?
I totally agree. Yeah, for sure. And as far as the mental part of the game, because for any player, obviously this is a big thing, a hot topic button right now, as far as just being mentally tough and grinding through stuff and being able to deal with someone that's going to yell at you or tell you you're shitty or whatever that is. Right. What was it like for you? And did you have anything that you use, like a book or a buddy that you talked to, or your dad that you talked to, or anything like that kind of helped you through some shitty times? Because for you, like not getting drafted, that sucks. You got to talk, you got to figure out how to get through that. Getting sent down, getting called up, like that kind of play on emotions and play on the mind a little bit. But is there anything that you kind of fell back to, or that you kind of like would do, or routine that you'd follow to kind of like help get through some of that stuff?
No, I guess nothing in particular. Like I always call my old man after games. So like if I get shelled, he'll kind of talk me off the ledge. And then if I'm like, if I'm kicking, then he usually pumps me up. But, but no, I always talk to him. Other than that, not like nothing too crazy. No,
but he's kind of your go-to though, right? Like,
he would be my go-to. But now, like, I guess this doesn't really answer your question, but it's more like in the middle of games, if I'm like giving up a goal or two, like early, and it could like, it starts like some goalies, it would snowball and stuff. I like thinking like I still could stop every shot because
and keep this a 2-goal game. Yeah.
If my eyes are going, I can still, like, I'm still seeing the puck well, and like a couple got in. So like I'm better. I guess I'm better now in the game versus like big picture, thinking about my career and stuff. I'm more, right now, and like, cause like I'll still think about like how I did like in practice today, and stuff like that. And like in the scrimmage, I was brutal. Like that's why I got off early. I should be up here right now, but I got off early because I got shelled out there. So like, but I just know like I'm not going to give up those goals in August or September. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's more that mindset versus anything else.
But I think even in-game stuff is huge, man. Because even as a player, you miss a couple plays, and then all of a sudden you're thinking too much, and then so being able to reset a little bit and being like, hey, guys
on the power play would be like mindless sometimes. Like if they mess up a play or something, or like the power play's not clicking, sometimes you can't even get in the zone then. And it's like, it's tough to watch. Hey?
It is,
but it's the same as a goalie. Like
100%.
If you feel like you can't stop a puck, you are like, and like you don't want them to shoot on you, you want to get out of the zone without a shot on net. Yeah. Then like, I mean, you're screwed.
Yeah. Right? If you're saying phew when they get the puck out, you're done.
I mean, I like making one save and then like that's it. Yeah. Because then you got like a little swag going then. Yeah. But like you shouldn't be not wanting a shot on net. You should be wanting a shot, like make your save, control your rebound, and then your D take care of it then.
Now, what's the best feeling as a goaltender? So guys and, players scoring a goal, or getting into a fight or whatever, but what's the best feeling as for a goaltender?
It honestly still might be when a player scores an overtime for your team. Yeah? Yeah. Because you don't know how long the game's going to go. Sure. Like in the playoffs, I guess. Or, I mean, regular season too. A guy scores 3. Although like making the last save in a shootout is pretty unreal. Sick. Oh yeah, that's really cool too. But like just the game being over and winning is the best. And that, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I guess it's so obvious, but
no, it makes sense though. But like, so in my mind, I'm thinking like as a player, I'm thinking making that sick, like that sick glove save cross ice, but you could have like 5 before that, and then you made a 6 save, and it's like not that great of a feeling. Because
I made a sweet save today, and then Reader picked me apart up top next shot. So like it was like, I don't know, it's kind of pointless, but
you're right. It's almost the end of the game, or like you get in a flurry in the third period and stop a bunch of shots.
That's a good feeling too.
And then you guys win.
Like, making like 2 big saves with like their goalie pulled. That's a good feeling too. Yeah. All those feelings. They're right on the same level. Yeah. They're right on the same level. Yeah.
Very, very cool. And what's it like to get in a goalie fight? Very fun.
Why do you ask that?
I was just wondering. No, I obviously we always check on you guys.
It was brutal, but I didn't. Yeah. I mean, now I know because I've asked people what I did wrong and they've told me. I got to put my hands up, obviously, but like I've never fought before, so I shouldn't. I really wasn't. I was trying to be cool.
Yeah.
Because I also didn't know that this guy knew exactly what he was doing. Did you know he like fought UFC?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so he's legit. Because he kind of caught you right off the bat with a
combo. Yeah. The old left, right. Yeah. So it was, and I went down I was going down after the first one anyway, and then he finished me off.
Yeah, he was good about it though. He was good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He was super. But I knew his goalie partner that year. Okay. We have the same goalie coach in the summer, and he texted me after. He's like, "You okay, man?" I was like, "Yeah, no problem." And he said that he asked his coach like all the time in Quad City they were to go and like in these like amateur like fighting matches. I swear.
No way.
And his coach was like, no, this guy was on a deal with the Wild with Minnesota. He's like, well, if like the GM of the Wild, like
Right.
Chuck Fletcher or someone at the time says okay, and he was like, no, you can't do that. So apparently he had been looking for one for a few weeks, and then there was a little liney.
Well, hey, answer the call, buddy.
I know. That's why I don't mind
Doesn't
it.
matter. No.
And I actually squared up in juniors too with Bennington in Owen Sound. Yeah.
No way.
But we were dancing around too long.
The lineys just jumped in.
And they jumped in. Yeah.
That's the best.
And then I crossed the red. I got a penalty, and I went back and got scored on the power play. Yeah. It was so brutal. I had to go put my helmet on and then take the power play, and then I got scored, and it was so miserable.
That sucks.
Yeah, that was so bad. I wanted to be in the locker room. That
Yeah.
was brutal.
Yeah, exactly. Well, buddy, listen, I appreciate you coming by, man.
Yeah,
This
no
was
problem.
great. And I'd love best luck this year. And hopefully everything kind of works out for you. And we'll be watching for sure.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
No problem.